if you don't know what COVID-19 is, that means you've not been listening to the news, you've not been panic shopping as Celia has been doing. You just need to see her pantry. She shopped out the whole of Waitrose. I am panicking. If you need stuff and you need Celia's food, come to me. You can get free stuff. No, honestly, coronavirus has sort of visited the whole world.
Apart from Antarctica.
Well, apart from mainly, we've got a few cases in Africa. Yeah. So, but it's really come from China, from the Wuhan province.
And Hubei province as well.
Yeah, and everywhere up to Italy, United Kingdom, the United States. I think they haven't recorded any cases in Canada. But that being said, this virus has really traveled far and beyond. And we understand that it's actually hit everywhere to the tune of over 5,000 people, which they've recorded more deaths than they did when we had SARS.
I think there's about 80,000 confirmed cases around the world.
So
not deaths though.
Not deaths, no, cases of
cases.
It.
Yeah. Okay. So, but in as much as we know something is happening around the world where people are panic shopping, things are happening about people's health, there's a new dimension to coronavirus, which is racism.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say interestingly, but there's an incident that happened in United Kingdom, London to be precise, of an a Chinese student. I think University College of London or UCL. No, UCL. And he got attacked because they said, "Oh, you and your disease go away. We don't want you here." People have not been shopping in Chinese restaurants. People are not buying food. People are invariably not doing anything with China, and we see how China as a whole, a continent or states, so to say, there's some economic value to things, and there's so many that I don't know if you've experienced it.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it's just like when there was Ebola and a lot of, although I didn't notice this because obviously I live in the UK, but I now hear that a lot of black people are being discriminated against. Even there was an article that I read where in the UK a police officer was making an arrest and he slammed the black guy to the ground and said, "Oh, with your Ebola, whatever it was, So a lot, how that happened during the Ebola crisis, this is how it's happening as well with the coronavirus. A lot of Chinese people are being discriminated against. I was on the train the other day and I sat on the train and then this guy walked in. So we got to the next station, the guy walked in, he sat on the space in between, so there was space between me and the guy. So a Chinese lady came and sat right next to the guy. The guy jumped out of his seat and sat next to me, okay? And left a space between him and the Chinese. And it was so obvious. The Chinese lady sort of looked at him like this. And the guy did not care. He just put his head down and was just minding his own business. So these are the kind of situations that happen. I was on the bus the other day as well. A lady, this one, she's not even Chinese. She was sitting down and she sneezed about 3 times consecutively. I mean, I kind of had to get up to go and ask for direction, but the other 2 people in front, they jumped up, and you show yes the direction, jumped up, and they just evacuated. So this is happening.
You work within the National Health Services. What's your take on this? Not that I'm saying you're an expert on it, but what's...
I think people are panicking over. I want to say it's nothing, but I think people are just panicking because, as you would say, people die every day. Like if you look at the ratio of deaths for coronavirus, it's very, very low. So obviously, people catch it. There's people who have been diagnosed with it, but how many people have really died from it? There's people that die from natural, normal flu more than the coronavirus and accidents and stuff. So yes, I know people don't want to catch it, but I just think people are just kind of being overly cautious. The main thing is that obviously, from a hygiene point of view, wash your hands. You shouldn't really be panicking unless you know someone, unless you've come into direct contact with people who have been to those listed countries, which are listed kind of on the national website, So if you haven't got anyone who has actually gone to those countries and back, and you haven't been in contact with someone who has been in those countries, and you see someone sneezing, it's probably just a normal cold, and you don't really need to panic. So I think, the symptoms of coronavirus is obviously the sneezing, the cough, and feeling feverish, which is the same thing that people get when sometimes they have a flu. So if you're not going to just keep away from somebody just because somebody has a normal flu, because if they haven't been to any of those countries or come into contact with people who have been to those countries, it's likely a flu, so you're panicking over nothing.
All right. Can I just come to Chinelo before you talk?
Yeah.
But the first case in the United States of America was a community-acquired situation, and that person had not been around those that traveled or those that have been in that. So you work in the community.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Well, the thing about this coronavirus is that it's a general expected human reactions. People would definitely react to things when they hear it. We are exaggerating it, we are taking it over the board, but it's natural. The thing is, just like Mojo was saying about being around people who've traveled, how do you know who has traveled and who hasn't? And again, the people that you see every day, how do you know they've not been around someone else who has traveled? So it's just for you to take care of yourself. I don't see it as discrimination, as people say. And then one thing I've noticed is that you see all these Chinese people, they say they discriminate against them, but you see them wearing all these masks around, going around. What would you expect? As soon as I see someone wearing a mask, I get very conscious, and I don't want to go near the person. And okay, let me give you an instance in my workplace. I went to, a lady came over to another lady that was sitting beside me, and she was just talking to this lady, and all of a sudden she sneezed, and this other lady said, please carry it back to your team, carry it back to your team. And she quickly got up and went to wash her face and her hands, and none of them was Chinese, but at the end of the day, you just see that these are natural reactions.
Can I ask, is it that the media has kind of over-sensationalized this issue? It's not as bad as it is. Let me put this in context. Like, I do my nails a lot, and I've gone in. I completely forgot about Corona for 2 seconds. And this is me trying to do my nails, and this woman opened the door and goes, "Hiya, has anyone been to China here?" And you know, at that point, I froze myself like, "Oh my God, I didn't even check if any of you have traveled." So, what do you think? All this panic buying, all this panic attitude, is it because of what we read? Is because really and truly, should we be getting our information from BBC? Should we not be just getting it from the NHS?
Okay, so I do think that the news is hyping this thing. I don't want to use the word hype because then that means you're trying to hype something that's not. Exactly. They're just reporting what's happening, but everybody's reporting it. You tune into, you put Google, and the first thing, even if you didn't write coronavirus, it will come up. And the first thing you see is to do with coronavirus. And going back to, you know, people wearing masks, I think people are just using it the wrong way. Because from the advice from the World Health Organization, from the NHS, mask is when you are not feeling well. The mask is not going to protect you from catching coronavirus or contracting it from somebody else. It's so that when you're not feeling well, you wear it so that you can protect others from yourself. And also, people that are wearing masks unnecessarily, don't forget, if you wear glasses, and you wear your mask, you will realize that when you're breathing, the steam comes to your glasses. And obviously, that allows the infection or whatever it is to attract more, to stick more to your mask, because it's now moist. That environment is moist now because you're breathing the steam, the heat, everything, and you're even at more risk of perhaps, I don't know, getting it. So if you're well and there's nothing wrong with you, then there's no need for you to wear the mask.
I think please go on.
I think we're just hearing one side of the news, or we decide to pick and choose what we read from the news, because even the same news that we all read also tells you that people die from other causes apart, and they tell you the death rate is 2%.
The Center for Disease, CDC, says the people that are actually at risk are those that have got compromised immunity, which is usually the elderly, the younger people, and people that are very unwell. So MRSA is a bug that is around, and has been around for yonks, and people carry and go back. Now I believe that is deadly. But my advice is, especially or I would say, appeal to people. We don't want a situation where a particular category of people are just being penalized because a disease kind of generated from the country that they because we don't know where HIV comes from. People live with it. They've not been
at the same time, at the moment, I'm not really eating any Chinese. I'm not even gonna lie, but that's not discriminating. That's just because I just feel in general
it's a natural instinct.
It's a natural instinct, and also because of that general Asian people. I don't want to keep saying Chinese. eat kind of, you know, they said the virus came from, I don't know, a bat or something.
Not a bat, there's a particular animal.
An animal or something, so it's through an animal that it came into humans. So because they eat all sorts of kind of food, so it just makes you think about, oh, Chinese, what are you eating? Where did they get the food from? You know, obviously, another thing you're going to be thinking about is that because they are Chinese, they've got family who are maybe come to visit them, or maybe they're more likely to have travelled or had family who come to visit them because they're from that country. So I don't think people are being racist. I think people are just, and also a normal person isn't really gonna know who's Chinese, who's Japanese, or whatever. Most people don't. Most people
everyone is Chinese.
Most people just see Asians and think, oh, China, you know. So I know, like, Chinese people are being discriminated, but the same thing with black people. It's like, if it was the Ebola, nobody knows whether it's Nigerian or Sierra Leone or whatever. People just see black people and think it's all general. So
even Jamaican.
Yeah. So I think people are
cautious.
Are just being cautious.
But the thing is, people are discriminating against anyone who sneezes. So I don't see that it's just only Chinese. Because if someone else sneezes, giving examples. So you don't necessarily have to be Chinese.
I suppose picking the point from what you said, when you say, Chinese people eat exotic things or whatever, people could also argue that African people also eat a lot of exotic animals or birds or whatever. So I think just cook it well, cook it well. Because I saw a video where a little Chinese child, don't eat it raw. The child was literally playing with a toad. A toad, a baby. The child was, it was under fire.
Sucking up.
We'll put it up there. We'll put a clip for you guys to see. But the child was just sucking on it, and the thing jumped off, and the parents put it back into the thing, and the child picked it up. So just things like that. People can argue that you
can eat what you want, just don't eat it raw. Like, because at the end of the day,
what if they eat it raw? People eat sushi.
But what I'm trying to say that a lot if you cook something to you really cooked, when it's really, really cooked, the likelihood of any germs or any contamination is probably already been cooked off or burnt off. So there's a difference between eating something raw and something cooked. Because you could even eat an infected animal.
My advice is live your life. People can die from anything. It doesn't have to be coronavirus. So there's no need to be frigid or paranoid about stuff. It's not going to save anyone.
Of course, when the time comes,
when the time comes.
There's so many things that this incident with, and I like to call it the poshing, the COVID-19, has affected travel plans. I love that.
And you know what? Do you know how this has really affected the stock market as well?
Of course, everything.
Absolutely. Billions and billions of pounds and dollars
just been.
Do you understand? By the day, it's happening.
Well, I'm of the view that look, it is what it is at the moment. We will leave it to the medics. I understand there's no cure at the moment. They're hoping to come up with.
So
something.
How do you greet someone now when you see them? How do you?
We'll click.
I went on a meeting. I went to a meeting, and it was a joint meeting with all professionals, and people should have known. So when you don't give a handshake, they know. And I just say, I'm sorry, man, COVID-19 is out there, love. I'm not going to be shaking.
Mayor Sadiq Khan has refused to shake people. Absolutely. And that the rationale behind it is that he hasn't got every 20 minutes got access to a sink where he can wash his hands. So you do what you need to do to safeguard yourself out there. Unfortunately, sanitizers have all sold out.
And people are taking advantage of it. Look at Amazon, look at eBay. People are selling a little bottle of hand sanitizer for $100. For ridiculous amount. Someone's going into the hospital and stealing the whole hand sanitizer from the wall. Like, seriously, things are happening.
And obviously it's affecting everyday life here in London, because I understand now that we've run out of toilet papers.
What's that meant to do, toilet paper?
Because apparently the stock. So most shops are now holding their stock. They're not bringing stuff out.
No, but why are people buying toilet paper though?
Well, you are panicking buying.
No, I'm buying food, water, those are essential things. But toilet paper, when you shit, you can clean your nash on the grass. So forget that thing, okay? Or you can use paper, you can use water. Toilet paper,
you have to understand that most people actually use their tissue paper for a lot of things that people buy. It depends. Celia's got like 25 packs of spaghetti that she bought. What do you need that for?
Exactly, that's why the person buying tissue is buying it.
He's buying it.
No reason. No one's stocking up
No, but what I'm saying is food. This is food that I'm buying. This
Tissue
is
paper
water.
is essential.
Yeah,
for other
you're
people.
trying to justify it for yourself. They can also justify it.
Can you eat tissue paper?
Well, we might get to a stage we might have to boil tissue paper. Well, but guys, our advice to you is obviously, as long as you don't have a compromised immunity, and one of our advice is let's build up our immunity. Fruit, not those store-bought. I'm talking about organic food.
Yeah.
Fruits.
Organic is expensive, love.
Yeah, but you don't want to die. COVID-19 is around.
One will always die if it is your time to die.
So,
let's not talk about that.
let's stock up
I
on
still eat
fruits.
Chinese food, by the way. So you might want to move.
I was just about to shift. So, guys, let's talk up on fruits, veg. Let's just build up our immunity. Walk, take water, be cautious about there. Wash our hands where possible, every 20 minutes.
Don't
as long as you don't touch your
I
face.
can't wash my hands every 20
Your
minutes.
citizen,
that's-
I've been to your office, is next to the kitchenette.
Yeah, but-
you don't have
I don't wash.
I don't wash my hands every 20 minutes. That's too much
That's too
work.
much.
I've got work to do, and I'm adding
Every
that to
20
my
minutes,
work.
guys.
My workload. That's too
Wash
much.
your hands. Don't be like Chinolo and Moji.
Yeah.
When you see them, don't shake their hands, fist bump. And be
I
safe
won't
out there.
even care.
And to everyone that is listening, look, the news, let's be sensible about the news that we listen to. There's no reason to over sensationalize things and panic when we don't need to panic. Until next week. I think I need to go see a GP. Bye guys. Bye.
Bye.